To the teacher endowed, transcendent destroyer, one thus gone, full destroyer, completely and fully awakened one, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, one God to bliss, nor other world, supreme guide of beings to be attained. Teacher of gods and humans to the Buddha endowed, transcendent destroyer, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. One knows supreme among humans, you are born on this earth, you pace 7 strides and said, I am supreme in this world. To you more wise than I bow. With your bodies formed supremely fine, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain. Fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, supreme guide, to you I bow. With the supreme signs, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I bow. You are immaculate, the 3 worlds are not, incomparable, wise one, to you I bow. Great, compassionate protector, all-knowing teacher, field of merit and good qualities, vast as an ocean, to the Tathagata I bow. Through purity, freeing from attachment, through virtue, freeing from the lower realms. Beauty, supreme, ultimate reality, to the Dharma that is peace I bow. Having freed themselves, showing the path to freedom too, well established in the trainings. The holy field endowed with good qualities, to the Sangha I bow. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind completely, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, a bubble. A dream, a flash, a lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through this merit may sentient beings attain the state of all seeing, subdue the foe of false, and be delivered from the ocean of cyclic existence, returned by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. This ground anointed with perfume, flowers strewn Mount Meru, foreland, sun, and moon. Imagine that some Buddha land and offer to you. May all beings enjoy this pure land. Venerable holy gurus, in the space of your truth body, from billowing clouds of your wisdom and love, let fall the rain of the profound and extensive Dharma, in whatever form is suitable for subduing sentient beings. Idam Gurunam Mandaram Kirtayami. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddhas, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am awakened in the Buddhas, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am awakened in the Buddhas, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings.
Sangye chudang soge chonam la chanchu bado gyamso Dagi jiso gebe sonam ge Dora benjo sangye drupa sho Sangye chudang soge chonam la chanchu bado dane gyamso Dagi jiso gebe sonam ge Dora benjo sangye drupa sho Sangye chudang soge chonam chanchu bado dane gyamso Dagi jiso gebe sonam ge Dora benjo sangye drupa sho 대ring 만주 참디 단다디 남정이 되지도 근데 시내다 라동세 되기나네 시내 것도 들리디고로.
No. So from the Lamb, fourth part to Enlightenment, the verse that we are right now is on the section calm abiding, followed by that with penetrative insight. And today we are focusing on calm abiding.
디니가네다 시내디 아니 간데스 다 두구레 시내 간데스 토버체고레 시내리아 토섬 코스모 간데스 제고레스 시제 디 남샤티다 숑디네 땡겨요와.
Awesome. So we will be focusing here on calm abiding, shamatha meditation, and so this classical text really reveals what are the different methods to cultivate this calm abiding, and what are the various attainments that comes along, and how we should absorb ourselves with, again, extensive hearing, extensive contemplation, and extensive meditation.
디니가네다 시내생이디 가레 아니 시내생이디 계신중 간데레 아니 시내 두베나 펜도 가리요레 시내 마dum나 아니 경 가리요레스다 디냐리아 서서 방지야 디르와.
So, in our mind, how should we make an order? Is the first calm abiding? What is the nature of the calm abiding? What is the importance of calm abiding? And the third is, what are the various benefits that comes along attaining this calm abiding? What are the disadvantages of not engaging into calm abiding? So these are sections we have to make an order in our mind.
디니가네다 당부 시내생이디 간데레스나 시내생이디 다 단된 안주 셈디 수요개와다 안주 셈디 다 섭다스에 딘디지리아 다 간들 시내시고로.
So what is calm abiding? Calm abiding is our current state of mind, this present state of mind, and this present state of mind needs a transformation. So calm abiding is about the transformation of our mind.
지디가네다 딘데 단당 아주 셈 축대바다 셈기 내제매야다 안 학벌도 셈 축다는데 망체 치료기 남이리아 축대야 디게디 매버스제 아니 셈 랑자질이야 고 딱딱 네트버질이야 중보이나다 딘데질리다 시내시기스라.
No. So let's try to look closely. What is calm abiding is the calm abiding is a meditative technique that's going to help our present state of mind, which currently is a disturbed state of mind. It's quite discursive. It is distracted, this restlessness element, and not able to place the mind single pointedly. It gets wavered and distracted. Distraction happens mostly to external stimulation. And so, in order to bring and abide the mind internally, the calm abiding is very significant.
제단디 인디가네다 단다 대응 안주 가스베 기부 준비를 함께 남자가도 시내다 나도 된디가네다 디 공래야 기부 드링기 내갑수 제자니 코아 간데제 코에 라야는 조와 간데스 치고래 된데 하나 중에 간에 아니 게 가서 다 개와치만 야 그래서 개와랜다 고르당 아니 개와 고르당 라버트 딱 안다르 게 된데 하나 중에 당 아니 denshigi 남샤당 아니 기부 중의 qabla 아니 렌데기 남샤당 다나시 겸주의 남샤당 denjur denje당 아니 신이 den주기 남샤 되게디 가상한서 숍스시 도대바 되게디 다시 14보다 뷰다보다 균에 영향이야 아니 신에게 펜도요레스 시시 디승구도.
Yes. So when we talk about the calm abiding meditation, it ties here to the calm abiding and the penetrative insight, tying to the great scope individual, the superior capacity individual, and for that, these two combinations are imperative. But in the last classes, we have really touched on the middle scope individual, which really want to see the suffering nature of the cyclic existence, and we want to go beyond this cyclic existence. And for that, understanding of Four Noble Truths, understanding in detail how the rebirth happens within the cyclic existence by understanding these 12 links of dependent origination and how we revolve. So all these comes under the middle scope individual. And then we have also touched on the small scope individual, where refuge is so important, focusing on the future life, and preciousness of human rebirth, relying on the spiritual teacher. So what happens is that today, as we understand in a deeper understanding of the calm abiding will be able to assist in sustaining all the developments of the middle scope and the small scope that we have studied, and those internally, all these elements will be solidified and it'll be sustained on a continuous basis. And this sustenance of the continuous basis internally can be assisted by calm abiding meditation technique.
지도안에 당한저 kopsbe tishe. 다 지단 셰비나 당한저 미지게 단세야지 간리 뭐 왔어.
So, Geshe, I want to open now with this general understanding that in generally we all live a life.
다 지단 미지게 단 고드간에 간저 그저 권도 셰비는 시리 미지양 연결결도 셰르다 다는 시 미지기보다 된데 되면서야지.
And then I have been repeatedly saying that this life you want to have happiness and meaningful purpose.
So first
of all, we really want to identify what is to live a life. And then also within that living your life, we need to identify what is the lifespan, and what is the life force. Lifespan and life force. The so the pigeonal carsone.
Pigeonal so ne tse and Joda Namshiki dancing each race.
So in this classical scripture, the nature of this life force is sustained by the lifespan, the warmth, and the consciousness. So these all elements are within the life force.
인지 나라 간데는 신경에 간들 벽에 나로리아 소싱이디 다 안주 심제 유베 소다 양지 출로기 지당 다 출로기 준신다 자당 다지 신도로 소바된데리아다 소유의 메스든데 야기지당 고양직 들제바질레디도 와서 다 이내 아주 디 딘데지 요르세지 랍샤비나 고삼다에 개발 연구로와
No. So Geshe says life force, it really entails in the Tibetan or the text is the life force of sentient beings, life force. And also we also talk about the life force in terms of the external environment, the grasses and the trees, So that's another thing to consider because it'll help with your critical analyzation process.
제가 단다 베제나 셰바나 싱한주 미 소세디 제가 다 미랑 심제랑 마도 지게 디 소세디 데 준신다 딘들이야 아 유로시 레멘도스
In the scripture, when it comes to the life force, it really focuses only on the sentient being's life force. So that is important to understand.
제가 디 인디가네 디 소디 예단다 슈베나 시르 조 게시시 먼저 세다 아니 저다 남시기 땡땡이 징이 지제 아니 디 규주지 규딜에 규응의 규 가려요래 아니 규베 규 가려요래 제가 거기 규래야 규 남샤 망고시제 된데 도와
So, in the scripture, this life force is sustained by sentient beings, any beings, which has a life span, has a warmth and consciousness as its basis. So that is important to understand. And within that life force, we have to understand what are the substantial causes and what are the cooperative causes.
제가 된지기 딱고 주지기 교당 아니 고려용 오당 안 된지기 다 간다 소당 제자치 무슨 알아줄이 여버디 베제나 여버나 신체제 그 되게 남샤다 되게 하고 되거나 아니 미지디 미지 된다 템바지야다 아니 미지디 톨라마당 거에디 거기에 전부 임바직 되네 세 가지 되는 것도 왔어
Having this understanding that the preciousness of this life force, how it is sustained, and what is the invaluable capacity of this life force are so important to understand, because the more you understand about this life force, the more you want to draw a meaningful purpose of this life and not to waste it.
제산다 건 남시기 땡스 계지들레니 간에 땅 알아주로 예배 남시디 아니 건 넘버십에 맞아 셈디 딱 간데 수요 잡고도 그 누가 간데스야 된 거고도 콜리안 게당 바지신이 가르르도 스체제 딜레니 간에 다시네 대한 계신 부차용도
So this comes to understanding that the consciousness is based on this life force. So our consciousness, which is so important, is based on this life force. And then now, how can we change this consciousness? How can we transform our mind? So, and how can we enhance the potential that is innate there? How can we increase the potential? And how can we remove the obstacles that's obstructing this precious mind? And for that, in order to enhance this capacity to an optimal level, our consciousness, that's why calm abiding is imperative.
그래서 디디간에 따 맞아 디디간에 디 코세가지 디디간에 따 남기인 알아주 난다 슈번에 시제 미지케단데 고체디기야 따또다 고에다 네멜시디간에 간다르스 사야다 동야 아니 고야 아니 대세기 딱 간다라 강바당 데레지를 간다라 향다 사야 동야 아니 대사 아니 강바 간다라 세고네메 데레지리야다 계침부지바당 데레지기 톨리야다 간다라 조지제 아니 미지 계고야지다 아니 미지기 딱 간다라 줍제에 데레지리야 임베솔시다 도스제제 안서 나와 코르티기 열봤어
So what happens in a general aspect, our lifespan and how our life goes on, generally people have this understanding that this life, that you live your life, and when you live your life, you are there for your livelihood, the livelihood of your sustenance of food or clothing, shelter of housing. And if those are well established, you're sort of content. The life goes on, and this is how life is, without pondering deeper meaning. But that's the general case.
디니가네다스 알랭야를 사야동에 개발 연구도 왔어. 제산 소자 전부다 미지 된데 템버지가 삼마다면이나 사야를 차시기네. 아니 tsele gegyo chigi ta kanda sayali ya tangdo chidu zane ta shandra mandra ani ta naga dhamandra ani ko saya tsele geba chili ya ta kandar ko chubjar cha ani tungyal cha shigina ta tandana shiri changra ta ani dhamandra tungwa chili ya tende chili ya karsori ta kibu ngun sin ta tende chi topjali ya ta ngun sin che ta yang ko misi geje to nyichi yungu yorwas.
So that's the general aspect, and within that general aspect, what happens is most of the general people, they are so sort of infatuated, infatuation in the livelihood of themselves, that they want a sophisticated lifestyle where they consume all kinds of food, they consume all kind of drinks, and that's how they live their life. The more the complex and the more the varieties of food and drinks and all this, that's how they define happiness. And so when it comes to food, all kinds of varieties of foods they consume, and they consume, let's say, they eat different kinds of meat, different varieties, and in terms of drinks, they get intoxicated by alcohol and varieties of drinks, and they live their life. People who choose that, they live their life in this fashion, and they think that's happiness. They define their life in that fashion, and they think that there's happiness, but there's no meaningful purpose. No.
아니 다가는 시다 골로라 골리야다 담만라 라 된지지 다 계신분.
And again, in terms of clothing, all different kinds of attires.
그렇지. 아니 다 되네 강바.
And then the next is housing, all kinds of housing.
자자 디인디가나 다 된지지게 디인디가나 다 얘디 쉬고야 가서 가서 한단데 시내 그 주야기 간다를 자기한다 내다 된데 걸레 인디가나 콘트와 차티고 그렇다서.
And the reason I'm saying all this is it is important to understand that, reflect on that, because we are really talking about karma abiding and what are the things that's needed for karma abiding. So understanding that spectrum is very important.
자잔디 인디가나다 소당 책이 고 가르소제 거기 뭐도 세부지 하마고 왜나 아니 간소는 비키지 쉐변나 시랑 간소 벽에날 시기요래 간들 메지디 할람마소네 사야다 뚱해지게 된다리야 딱 간들 메지디 깨발렌데 베서치다 디 된다리야 메지디 깨구기 베서치 레베스 지게제딜레인 거 그래서
It is very important that one needs to understand what is the lifespan and what is a life force. And if you don't know, the characteristic and the potential within this, then there's a Tibetan saying that, you are born as in a human form with this life, but you are always sustaining only food and drinks, and this is why you are reborn as a human. So this is a reflection one needs to go on.
저선디 더버지요 다 안저 다가 하고 가시실이야 베는 니만지기 나리야 미들 사교등 요신부르지 마죠 안고 사야다 동야 신부 마죠나 안벳 고라 롱수수다 벳 먹이 버치등이 릭든데 용도 왔어.
No. So because it is important to understand and reflect, we can see in our generally in life there are people who are so infatuated with good food and drinks, and if that particular person, if they didn't find good food today or able to drink, they really get crazy, and they not only that, their wind energy gets really agitated, so they become agitated.
저선지도 날 가시 두여도와 간다고 돌로야고 지마고 사야동야 신부지 마죠 안고 대사 강바 기우지면은 아니 걔랑 메디텔라 깔레 겸네 가르쳐 오래 걔나 교육여바대 가르쳐 오래서 이제 삼로된데 땅에 망고도 왔어.
This is true account in society in general. When you look in society in general, people are so much absorbed and consumed with eating good food, drinks, wearing different kinds of attires or clothing, staying in good housing and all this. And if these people they don't have these facilities or resources, then they really get bogged down. And then they said, oh, if you don't have accumulated your wealth, then there's no meaning in their life.
미지기 미지 가지 딜링 아주 쉐브나 쉐레 미지 기부단세 다 기부들레 제산단데디 조다 루서기 기부디 차루도 왔어.
No. So when you look closely into society, people are catering to such kind of focus, then their happiness is only on the physical body sensation happiness.
하여튼 미지 된데 템바세가 레이두가네다 개완의 결합 간달 풀이야 펜버용하지다. 대 펜버디 수수지고 마연바 펜버 간달 격강 강제 반대 심지어 탐지리야 캡투야지다. 심지어 탐지 시디가네 디나데 단도아리 줄로 레용고라 나가지도 간다 랑다 안다 간들 된주다 아니 냐와 이다 아니 라미 라마이 되게 정말이야 펜도 용토백이 캡투야기 다 내가 지금 레용 다 미지 된다 템바세 디간 레용도 왔어.
Then getting closer into a picture about the meaningful purpose of your own life, then they are individual who really focuses of their life goal, life after life, and they also want to have a lasting impact. And that lasting impact where their mind get expanded and they want to benefit all sentient beings. And sentient beings, they exist in the 6 realms, 3 unfavorable realms and 3 favorable realms they want to benefit. And they only focus it to benefit others. And such an individual who focus on that, and they are really drawing the meaningful purpose of their life, force and lifespan.
다 미지 된데 템바디 도아 리투를 펜고를 쓴다 펜당 간데레스 양 디톨이야 주와당 제버실이 임고를 왔어. 세상에서 남기는 시고를 펜버투고는 알링엘 심지어 탐제시 펜버투볼라 심지어 탐제 되게 들려야 안서 통고고요래 투고고요래 아니 되게 되단 저와 차고고래 수수 시엘 펜버제벌 인엘이야 아니 수수 tilly베긴 제스 제게제된데 레임도 왔어.
So when it comes to the meaningful purpose that we want to benefit all sentient beings, when you think in that mindset that all sentient beings in 6 realms, now the deeper question is, how can we benefit? What are the things we can benefit to these beings? And for that, we need to encounter these sentient beings. We need to make a connection with these sentient beings. We have to create a relationship with these sentient beings. And so these are some of the things that should order in our mind. And then we start with a close proximity within our domain, the close proximity of a relationship.
제가 디 인도간에 따 시행 탐지를 펜버 치고나 말한주의 tilly베기 소소이 년제당 tilly베 된솔이야 땅 완주의 펜도 쳐야 돼. 말한주의 류당아 이 숨게게 따 딜 펜도 치투고도 왔어. 제유들은 저와 여버들라. 따 딜이야 완주실이 완주 된제질이야다 펜바스 제정 위지 된제지 제제 두어로.
No. So how can we benefit? And is we start first with our close proximity relationships, a relationship that is within our close proximity, and then having this relationship, then we can benefit them through our body, speech, and mind. We can impact in a positive way.
지리간에 따 심지어 탐절이야 펜버 줍세야 디간 레디간에 배야디 다 심긴 뇌베톤에 펜고도 와서
So then next comes all sentient beings that I want to benefit. And how does that come about? And that happens through your mind only. Developing your mind is the only way you can benefit all sentient beings.
다 셈기 팽고도 간다 다 딜이야 아니 간저 셈기 누바 아니 셈기 칠업 아니 뭐와 멀람스 제게 딜레인 것도 왔어.
And now we can benefit sentient beings through our own mind, and that's the essence here. That it is the mind that has the potential to benefit. It is the mind that can bless other beings. It is the mind that can dedicate our merit and make aspiration prayers for the benefit of all sentient beings.
되네 디규네 아니 시네 소소lunga 예숨기 아니 심절이야 펜버 주야지 디톤의 레인 것도 아주 규배 거네.
No. And by doing that, and most importantly, your mind doing all these as indicated earlier, and then through that, then you can manifest in benefiting through your body, speech, and mind. So primarily the mind comes first.
제산디 인디가네 다 덴데게 먼저 셈기 누바 세네민도 아니 셈리야 교인진이기 교인자디 파 누바딜이야 간다리 교인진이기 예바디게 파세야다 디야 주비하게 된다래야 다시네 나눠래야 아니 탑니제 예바딜라다 예방아 열스 예방아 시기도
So, in order to invoke this innate capacity within ourselves, the mind, the quality of the mind, the innate capacity to invoke that, right now, temporarily, it is covered with stains. So, now the point here about calm abiding is we need to remove the stain so that the clear light, the nature of our own pure mind, potential get enhanced and then enhance, and that's why we are learning the calm abiding and how the calm abiding can be sustained, and what are the various faults that comes along from the not to attain that calm abiding. Lusu.
시주가나다 예방아다 님부 두제데 게 템베고네 신의 줍수시제 신의 줍수기다 간다 답람직 디르와.
So one of the methods is we really try to find what are the faults within our mental stream to rectify those faults, and what are the application of the appropriate antidotes. So within the faults, there are 5 faults and there are 8 antidotes.
디직체 아니 되네 셈네베 탑구스제.
And then how the various stages of meditation, sustenance of attention has been attained through 9 stages.
다 탑구디 조단들라 아니 töbe 가서 야톱 주르와 탑구디 조단들라 톱 주고거냐 톱 주르와.
No. And then these various 9 stages of sustained attention and a meditative state focus to attain in a step by step or stage by stage, we need 6 different powers.
맞아요. 딘디가네다 땡기 건디셔브나 시제 딱 딘디기 셈들이야 수요게야리 양에 당부 교연데 마소네 교연한테 가르스나 당부들 레로르도.
So let's first look at what are the various faults that really obstruct us not to have calm abiding. So first we will go to the 5 faults, and it starts, first fault is laziness.
제자다 레루딜레 아주 그까지 건디셔브나 시제다 미 디 지단다다 슈망고나 땡기기를 돼 있는 거란 주단다 조삼 공심제야 되려다 람리다 준주나로려다 레루레 파 같잖아 레루 남바숨 당부디 기록을 레루 되네 자왕예식을 레루 right? 아니 shumbele 수도스도가.
And so laziness is it's something that obstruct, and of course, in a lot of the classical texts, it really talks about laziness and different types of laziness, and there are three different types of laziness that is sort of really brings about the laziness in totality. So first is the laziness.
당부 기루가.
So first is the laziness of procrastination, and the second is the laziness in of you are distracted by something that you are not doing the main thing that needs to be achieved, and the third is discouraging yourself, and to bring your mind down that you are not able to accomplish. So these are three different types of laziness.
제가 디인디건에 딸 렐로 당부 기루버티기 알랭에 당부 신의 단다디 신의 주다인디건에 셈 제자 신의 주변에 아니 거 디토리아 듬버거란 레로 지금도 왔어.
So when let's take the first laziness, which is procrastinating, and that procrastination happens now in relation to karma abiding, because our focus here is about karma abiding. So you don't do the karma abiding, which is the main goal, but you procrastinate it, and then there is no strong aspiration to the karma abiding.
다 기시데 듬벌레비네 다 콜이야 슈겹 야연 장제 고 모티는 마르거네 연재질이야 땅에 연구면도 삼네 아니 shum벨레도 돼야래 왔어.
No. Since the aspiration to do the karma abiding is not sustained and not vigorous, that what happens is that first you will have this low aspiration, which will procrastinate, and over time you will say that, oh, I'm not able to do it. So then the third laziness sets in, which is you are discouraged.
shum벨레.
No.
지도가네 다 자왕 예신기래로 시대산에 딱 단다 신의 주배기 고란 차견당 아니 고래고래기 딱 간도 주당기 방림 주의도가네 방리 뒤 털어야고 딱딱 만들어버지 아니 딜레 멤베기 고래가지 지디 그 잠만다질이야 다 지도가네 뒤다 자왕 예신기래로 시거라 뒤서
And once the discouragement laziness comes in, and then the second laziness sets in, where even if you are doing the karma abiding, you are not doing it properly with the classical order. You are inventing something either, or you are distracted by something and you are doing totally different activity.
저한테 인디가네 단 미지 된데 되면 미유가는 이내래 감 다르게 셈 미지 된데 된바다 간들이 계획 처리야 조약이 털이야 수술능아 유숨기 배주도 맞지버지 아니 미게 왜 줘다 뇌왜 처리야다 가져 먹어 가족이 흐르보다 아니 다 디털이야 수술기 배주 제비에네 디청마다 자원 인식이래로 나는 두주고도 왔대.
So when it comes to the other activities, it really focuses that the mind is not focusing on meaningful purpose, which is virtuous of dedicating your body, speech, and mind. Rather, you are distracted and you are doing you could do negative actions also, and can also do harmful actions, and then you do it with so much of perseverance and vigor, and so if you do that, then this second laziness is very much sets in. No.
디인디가네 다 딘데 레루델이야 아니 냠부 가르땡 거르스디가네 다 냐 당부 대박거레스.
So now how can we apply the appropriate antidote to when such laziness sets in? The first and foremost is faith.
디인디가네 다 단다 디값수 신을 미베 대바이네레 아니 군졸 미베 대바이네를 강다르게 기회 초당 아니 다 간다 상회 초다 미지 된데 템페 초다 탐절이야 펜버 주베 초 된제질이야 다 간다 대바 기구도
When the antidote first is faith, faith in the relation here, the faith in relation to your practice of karma abiding. And that is important. And then also this faith can also be expanded, of course, to your refuge, and then to any kind of meritorious virtuous action, any kind of positive path, any kind of meaningful purpose of projects, and whatever that can benefit others. So those will enhance your faith.
소다 신에게 평이라
So specifically, we are focusing here about faith in relation to karma abiding.
다 신에게 연대
Practice.
단위 건도 주변다 지레 간다르 신에게 연대다 신에게 계절 가려요르세나 다 간다르 셈 치료를 맞춰봐다 아니 셈내야 라완 교투보다 아니 생기 네바다 간다르 공배도 동토야를 쏘봐 디 연대가네 딱고 저 된대지기 연대 통역권에 아니 대박이야체 대박이 사서는 다 된대기 셈들이야 수교계야당 셈들이야 누바다 디게 전부 임바하고 들어가네 다 뒤쪽고에게 아니 둠바디기 연구를 봤어.
No. So then the focus here is about the faith that is oriented in developing this karma abiding. And to enhance that, you try to see the benefits. Look at the various benefits of the karma abiding. If you attain this karma abiding, what are the various benefits that will come along? And what are the characteristics of those karma abiding? So these needs to be studied and really deeply reflected. And if you do that, you will have a meaningful purpose. And some of the benefits of the karma abiding is your mind won't be distracted. And the second is you will have freedom. Your mind has certain level of control over it. And the third is the mind becomes serviceable. Whatever you want to focus, it stays and plays on that focus very easily, and the potential enhances. The mind's potential enhances, and these, if you reflect, your faith will grow. So if you reflect on these benefits, your faith will grow. Now, as the faith grows stronger in your karma abiding practice, then the second antidote, which is the aspiration, sets in.
둠바지. 둠바야고 중선에 대체다 아니 준주스셰셰. 그 델리아 베슨치 두고와.
And once the aspiration becomes sustained and focus, then you will want to persevere. So the third antidote is the effort, joyous effort.
준주셰.
No.
아니 준주 잠은 대체나 준주 잠베게 아니 디 디부 좀제들이야 아니 신장 연구를 시셰. 다 델리아 류 신장다 셈 신장 시셰. 간다르 류셈 레스로 와디 연구를 했어.
Yes. And then, as your joyous effort enhances, it will bring about the next characteristic, which is the pliancy. The pliancy will come, and once the pliancy happens, the pliancy is both the mental pliancy and physical body pliancy. And when you attain those pliancy, then your body and mind become very serviceable.
딘디가나다 딘데지 중수나 니제들 아니 가르고르스드가나 아니 신의 심 구르드가나다 신의 아주 단데 셈들이야 아니 신의 주제기다 간다르테 미고치 인지미지 구구요래서.
So then next comes that whatever karma abiding we want to sustain, we need a specific object to focus on.
이 미고 구구이디가나다 미고델라 아니 바르도 주제기 예바 가려요르세나다 미고 제베들도 칭해.
So then, once you know the object of your meditation, then what is the fault is that the second fault, which is forgetting that object.
다 미국 가르샤베네 미유디 미국디 아니 제바다 미국 세부 매바당 안 디타 디캅기 징예세 디체 다 딜nyembu nyembu chwane nyembu 가르된 거로서나 다 텐셰 텐체 거의 안에 양도 그 템퍼처디 아니 nyembu 드다
Yes. So the second fault is forgetting the object of your focus, and what happens is that either you forget the object or the object is not clear in your mind. So these are again fault. So how can we apply the antidote? The antidote for this is mindfulness.
템퍼 텐셰 돼야
Now, so applying the mindfulness.
다 되네 림바니버티 간래야 다 미국 수수기 셈디 미국 간래야 미국 세바다 아니 미국 경토와지 중보이나 다 되네 모두디 간에 다 딜량 괜스네 미도야 파치시 칼레 거르스나 아니 정화다 고바승이 들레고다
No. So then, if you are able to focus on the object, and the object also comes to a certain clarity, and you are able to sustain or place on the object to a continuous basis, another obstacle could happen, and that obstacle is the coarse kind of laxity and excitation.
다 정화 수도 전에 심 다 미국 세부 매바다 아니 셈디스마 무바다 간들 심 미세베기 차 용화 된대질이야 다 정화스체 봐
Yes.
다 고바 수도 가나 아니야 셈디 미국발이야 따다 때마도 버체 치료도 초도 돼야 된대질이야 아니 남이 좋아야 된대질 고바스 정화도 고바 된대질도
No. So to explain about the laxity and the excitation, when the laxity sets in your mind, the focus on the object is not clear, and also the mind get a little bit foggy, and the mind become a little bit more depressed. And whereas when there is an excitation that arises in your mind, the object is not able to place at all most of the time, and then it get distracted by the external whatever stimulation or desire that has been distracting you. No.
지디간에 다 신에당 셈디 미국간에 내디간에 다 신에다 지 정화다니 고바단 되게디 파세가 제야다 아니 디 미국이야 디 그래서 그래 수수 셈디 미국간이야 용대베 qabla 아니 정화다 고바 연구도나 다 정화다 고바 연구 간데 다 정화다 고바 용마요 단얘기 다 간다를 셈 시장스 시신스 제제 간다 시럽게 charlotte 간다 제버치 돈 얘기 셈치기 안티 국도아
No. So when in the calm abiding, the obstacles that happens are both the laxity and excitation. Both are obstacles. So when that obstacle happen, then you have to apply the appropriate antidote in order to dispel that difficulty. And what is this antidote here is the introspective awareness, or in some terms it calls as vigilance. So that needs to be there. And that shishi in Tibetan, it really ties to a wisdom aspect. There is a mind that really is analyzing, little bit that whether you are deviating from the object or not. So it has, Geshe says, it has a wisdom aspect.
지리건에다 정화당 고바 응외진 토하다 정화당 고백이 안 수수기 미된리야 너바 간디스키 위에 다디 하고 돈이 시럽치 구고라 다딜 시신스.
So it is important to identify when the laxity and excitation happens. And the second thing is that what makes this laxity brings obstacle. What excitation happens in your mind? What are the obstacles that comes? And that analyzation process can happen with the help of the introspective awareness. Yes.
지도가는 다 된제 친구 용어 갑라 아니 친구 기념부 미덴베 기타 간다 투쇼시 두고도나 아니 디냐바 시바데 냠봉om버 두미제 봤어 두미제 바데다 코냐바 차도래 지도가는 인지민지 다 간다 콜이야 냠부 슈겹체 냠부 땡고야 돼 냠배순 치고야 돼다 디레 가서 그래 고고에 고고요다 돼
No. When there is a laxity and excitation, it is important that we know that these are obstacles are setting in. And if you don't do that, then the next obstacle, which is non-application of the antidote, sets in. If you are not aware of laxity and the excitation, so that's the non-application of the antidote when there is laxity and restlessness and excitation arises in your mind.
다 된제기 셈 오스 미관리야 템보 제네네 토바체 아니 중화다 고백에 디가스 교연다 마용어 된제 갑라 다양 중화다 고바 연구도 면도 삼백에다 아니 시신다 괴님부대양 들다유면도와 디따바이나 아니야 미과디 셈 신의 주베리야 고 교연다 고 뉴그레스
No. So on the non-application of the antidote, it is important that you you apply the application of the application of the introspective awareness. As you go on with the calm abiding, and if it's able to sustain on the focus of your object on a continuous basis, then you don't need to apply any kind of antidote. But if you are applying it like over application of the antidote, then again that becomes an obstacle.
디인디가네 아니 그러다 되는 뭐 두체바디다 고교연 체디가네 디인부들라 아니 님봉뭐 두메제베 땅념 시디가네 아니 셈디 미베 강리야 아니 곧딱 가서르다 발흘려제 샤투바지.
Yes. And then when there is over application of the antidote, and that becomes a fault, what is the antidote for it is that you have to place with equanimity. And that's the antidote for that. Yes.
시디가네 디 어다 도스 샤스와 게시지 가르선다 니방아디 레로 아니 미버제베 징에 아니 중화당 거봐 아니 님봉om버 두미제베 아니 두미제베트체 아니 가서 그래 친구에다 제베체 아니 님봉om버 두제바디 냐바체 아니 니님부데라 아니 당보도 준주 되네 아니 템바 되네 시시 되네 땅념 되네 님봉om버 두제바체 되네 님봉om버 두미제베 땅념 세디다 디제 가서리 님비초드체
Yes.
다 님비초려야 당보 준주디 되나려야 준주 테베다 간다 시샤고 라 준주 되는 조 가르스나 준주 개버절래야 대바다 둠바다 아니 신장고레스 와디르셨다.
Again, Geshe is bringing the overview of all of the five faults and the 8 antidotes. I will read the five faults, which are laziness, forgetting the meditation object, and then there is a coarse kind of laxity and excitation, and then there is the non-application of the antidote, and then the last one is over-application of the antidote. And accordingly, we have to apply the appropriate antidotes. For laziness is faith, aspiration, joyous effort, and the plan C. And for forgetting the object, we need to apply the antidote of mindfulness. For laxity and excitation, the application of the antidote of introspective awareness. And for the non-application of the antidote, we have to apply the antidote of the introspective awareness. And then for the over-application of the antidote, we need to sustain with equanimity. And of all, Geshe now again particularly said that for laziness, for
신장을 야었다. 단도 님부지오라. 님비 간에 당봉아서 고야디 신장을 시작한스는 류셈 대부고라.
no.
신장체 안에 되네 템퍼체 되네 시 템퍼체들라 아니 시신체 되네 님봉은 벌 두체바체 근데 님봉은 두메체 당님 다 되네 당부 시신 고야들라 시신 고야들 교카르스나 안 대바tum바 준중원도 줘나 안 고시신릭도 시신레베이나 류당 셈니데 대부 딱다체되거나 아니 고신의 죽투고도
당부 시신일.
당고 시신이 뭐들라 시신체 아니 템바체 미고 템바도 거와 아니 템바 중사선의 디체라 아니 템바를 바르도 주에게 아니 콜레야 따니게 시럽 시신디체 아니 시신디하고 중수나 아니 가르소래 님봉원벌 야 님봉원벌 두체바체 다 님봉원벌 두체베티가 삽드네티 야고 중사소나 아니 님봉원벌 두미제베 아니 당념스
No. So another order when it sets in is that we need to have this introspective awareness as a fundamental to that, and if we have that, and then the mindfulness will come. That's another way of developing the calm abiding. And then once the mindfulness is there, then we will be able to do whether there is the non-application of the antidote or over-application. When that sets in, we will be able to apply the appropriate introspective awareness, and then and then the other, the effort, and then aspiration and faith all again can set in. So that's another way Geshe says. Yes.
아니다 되네 야 뒤에 야고도 가서 다디 탑들이야 조 가르스네 이게 고대 간다 톱주 퇴베 톱단 삼베 톱단 템베 톱수리 간다 조 시넬이야 퇴섬 곰숨도 거기다
Again, when we develop this calm abiding, we need 6 powers. And just like Geshe indicated, extensive hearing, extensive contemplation, and extensive meditation. But here for calm abiding, the 6 powers are the hearing and critical reflection and mindfulness.
한 디체들라 아니 준주 구도 준주다 직 아니 용선 디버스도 가네 고 양네 양도 고르 디약
No. And then comes the introspective awareness, and then also the joyous effort. And then, and once those are there, then they will be a complete familiar reality to the practice of calm abiding.
지디가 엔탄일라브나 시제 시신기 톱스도 가네 시럽디 거의 교회 가리 아니 가서라 콜 펜바 가르도 아니 디게디 간다르다 디 따토니게 아니 시럽 시신기 톱스데
Yeah. As earlier indicated, this introspective awareness belongs to a wisdom side of it, because it's able to determine whether it's negative, positive, all these elements. It's able to see that. So that's why it is part of the wisdom, and it is called as introspective awareness.
딘제시시
Yes.
딘시 따데네 셈네 다 간다 단다 디가 될래 예방하다 님부 두지기 예 거야체 다 양 가서를 초셔바 찍는 주에 셈네베 탑 구세야 돼. 다 셈네베 탑 구디 로리야 예버쳐라. 당분 미과 낭도 줘봐 셈코라 낭도 줘봐체 아니 되네 균도 줘봐 렌데 줘봐 예버 줘봐 도어 줘봐 시버 줘봐 넘버 시버 줘봐 네네 아니 제주도 줘봤어 셈탑 구디
No. So then, as indicated earlier, with the karma abiding to sustain, it is important to understand various five folds and how to apply the appropriate 8 antidotes. That's one way of sustaining your karma abiding. Another way of sustaining your karma abiding is understanding the 9 stages of the placement, sustained placement of your attention, and that for that it is 9 stages, and that comes along also with the four types of attention. So the 9 stages of sustained attentions are placing the mind first, second is continuous placement, third is repeatedly placement, fourth is close placement, and then the fifth is taming, and sixth is pacifying, and the seventh is totally pacifying, and 8 is making single pointed attention, and the last one is placement within equipoise. So these are 9 stages of the sustained attention.
디디가 냈다 셈네 탑 구근 안에 안종아바 도어체 버스 그도 딜리디가 냈다 수수 셈데 파 두투드잖아 아니 수수기 셈네야 간다 라와디 토베서르체 셈데 파 두투이나 다가랑게 있다 셈 hlö바당 아니 기바당 그런 다야고라에서 말아 계시주 디깔이었다 뒤수디가 냈죠 셈네야 남기네 다가래다 간다 바치시슈 뇨모디게 되가 나타 디컵려야 아니 지금 되샤이네레 다나 신기다 차도다 전심다 되게 참을로다 칼라간서 봤음 반두투고 요서봐
When you look closely into these 9 stages of sustained attention, look on the fifth one, which is taming. And when a person reach to that level of the stage, which is a fifth stage, which is called taming, at that time, that person, particular individual who is a practitioner, sustaining in that phase, you will have a certain level of freedom and control over your own mind, and your mind will have relaxed. It has a deep calmness. Its calmness is deep, and you'll be happy. You are content. In terms of afflicted emotions, the afflicted emotions are not manifested, especially attachment and jealousy, strong anger, and all those sort of they are not occurring in your mind when you reach to that level.
간달다 셈 콘르기 막이 버차서나 콘르리아 녀부텐체 셈디마 안단 도치 두어라 다네 신기 되베기 왕기 셈디마기 버체서나 딜레녀부텐은 셈마 도치 두고도 다네 신기다 차도레 젠셈제 다간 게 간데지기 간다라 셈디마기 바다 아니 만디고 연구도나 셈다 딜마 녀부텐체 마 뚜투어다 간다라
Another factor to consider is when an individual attains that level, the fifth level, if attachment happens, you will be able to apply the antidote immediately. And even if some kind of jealousy happens, you will be able to apply the antidote right away. And same with anger and other discursive negative emotions. So in a way, you will have a control over your own mind.
제베는 안신의 두바 시바스지 안신의 셈드마 링자제 셈시디지 용투도
And then after the fifth is the sixth. Then it says Shiva. Shiva means peace, pacifying or peace, and definitely it'll happen.
아니 넘버 쉬워지 되거나 아니 디가라 아니 셈데 뭐네 간다라 뉴모다 그 견절에 드베게 아니 셈 짱마차도다.
And once you reach to the seventh, which is totally pacifying or totally peaceful, at that time, the mind has very least stain, or obstruction. So that's why it is peace.
다셈 짱마차베나 짱마차되거나 디거도들이야 아니 셈기 tipje 매바 짱마차되거나 아니 셈디 기랑신 회세와다 아니 고펫 네버침부 임바디 되거나 아니 가서라 땡이 권도 쉬번다 시리 한 남정아란주 미국 견되거나 아니 조주 상계다 chanchu sembadan simje tamjeliya kandarin tewa yebaji anu sotoya towa.
Once you move to the next level, which is the making single pointedness, at that time, the mind has pure nature. There will be a purity, and then normally we talk about that clear light. That mind will have the purity at that level, the eighth level, and you will also recognize the potential of that at the light mind, the clear light mind. And then at that time now we can see that that mind can pervert to all direction, to all the direction wherever sentient being is. It's able to pervert. Pervasive. Pervade, yeah. Pervade. Thank you.
Yendigana anu ngazu semdi pejen namju tar dirjonyi tosizine wa name pasjeje tosizine wa name potu kyaptuyaji charusarwa.
At such stage or such attainment, it is quite possible that that mind is able to pervade from the highest state of the peak state to the lowest state of hell realm. That mind is able to pervade.
진대거네 안에 라이다 다신다 오르냐와다 사마리아 캡투야지 차서왔어.
So then, of course, at that stage, that mind is able to forward to all the pure realms, and also able to go to the hell, able to pervert in the hell realm as well.
아니 데네 구반 냠바르 샤와스 되거네 아니 셈데데 지 톨이야 아니 로직 샤게 로니 샤게 아니 트럼네 트럼 샤게 아니 권 냠바르 조와스 되거네 아니 디갈이야 샤투야게 균싱투야게 노실레서와서.
No. And then after that is the ninth stage, which is the placement in equipoise. At such level, the mind is able to sustain, and it depends on the individual whether you want to sustain that for a year, 2 years, life after life. So that's the level of the ninth stage.
어디래다 니바가 인연부 뒤제다 셈네베 답고 조다 텐데시제 가서 저어지는 도시래 디스 세가 대용으로.
So this is how you understand the importance of calm abiding. What are the various faults and how to apply the antidotes? What are the different levels of attention will be sustained on different levels of stages, which are 9 stages. So with that understanding of calm abiding, now we can move next to the question session, question and answer.
If at stage 5 the coarse afflictions aren't manifest and we can apply the antidotes very quickly, then how can it be that if someone who has attained full shamatha, like Milarepa, could use their concentration for harmful purposes, like when he killed many people, having attained concentration and then harmed people? How can that happen?
namse like chiwa de dirish kisi kisi like handa simki nature ngawa di duwa shwe jura wonde le du ani kansa di yula ani jik nyumu nyugura mewa da simshi de le ne tugu wa dinde sun ra kisi nyumu chakwa da ta chi kanji kene nyimbo lamsa kora tun tugu re sun di himba chashina 아니 주주 밀러레바기 니마 코란 신이 톱 살바 체 신이 톱 산에 이네 코란기 다직 디 다주르기 돈에 다 세라당 근데 누지 망부 치러와 아니 계속 그 귤니 뭐라 누구와도 좀에나 니 그게 너밖에 뭐 군제 가진 누밖에레스 주주 밀러레바
몽몽 줄되게 매나
맨이다 신의 톱으로와 신의 톱 산에 아니야 직 수수기 한다 아니다 된줄 문여봐만 위케로와 세라다에다 다직 온좀 가진 치레스 밀레레베 코란 심레 시리유나 치고에
저 배워 그랬어.
Very good question.
나 근데 디컵도 될래 너무 매워 차차레스. 너무 매워 차차나야. 아니
또 몸 매워 차차네 양스라 신이 톱으로 아니 몸 매워 차네냐 누바테라 대주바테네티 세라게
다 디컵도 됐다 기지 딜레인 거래. 제사다 더자를 차시기나 배나 디컵도 돼 코란 콘도 다 더자도 스케버로 왔어. 다 콘도 더자기 되가네 다 단다 디컵스 알링을 콘도 샤는 되게. 콘도 단 더자. 주도가는 콘도리아다 간달 차라서 rimbo kuchi kudu as.
And so Geshe says that your question is good, Venerable Lamsila. Even though he has attained Milarepa, but still he caused harm. And that shows that, of course, attachment and anger is there at that. No. Particularly, Milarepa did that action because of anger, So but within that anger, we also need to go more from the coarser to a subtler level. So there are 9 different subtleties.
제가 다 콘도 rimbo 구유디 자네. 다 콘도 단다 디컵스 셈 둘세야디 봐. 콘도 rimbo 당보니바 숨바. 아니 달리 콘도 rimbo 당보니바 숨바 포던 두투바에는 셈 쉬우지 마 시장인 거 봤어.
Although there are 9 different gradations and subtlety of anger, and then at the stage 5, Geshe says, let's say that the anger or that has come down to 3rd level. Let's say 3rd level. Even at the 3rd level, you reach it. Your mind will have so much peace and so calmness.
어디가? 다 얘네 질 상게 탈바톱세 계절리 두가네. 다 콘도 좀봐. 콘도리 야지도 전에 콘도 전부 안 순주 마지도 간에 콘도 체 된서도 너버 충하다한테 지고. 너버 충하다 되제 콘도는다 콘도 차시다 콘도 차시스네 저기다 라고는 콘도 락버스도와 락버디게 되다 간들 빵 레하다 콘도 디지고다 콘도 차부지도와 디빵카가다 거다 나가지고 와라. 저기 그네다 콘도 기타 간다 자와 사변도 마스네 빵사디 전에 안에 타르바생이 토베간 리고라. 단다 코란즈이 디체디 콘도 리모드 마스네다 콘도 치중은안에 다 베나 콘도 다 나바 두바 기스도 체기로와 나바 두베 기드발리아 다 간다 콘도만 잠투즈 가는 셈만 두부 샤두라 이네도 파짱마 소야다 디체리아 다 콘도 차슈디 콘도 자와 거라 매버소로와 다 콘도 자와 매버소도 콘도 자와 매버소비 베고 마르 디게 자외게 자와스도 가나 다 당진디 투두거라 다 당진 매버소 터즈간 레두가나 아니시네 타르바다 탐제 김바세 계지 디간 리고라 단지보도 말레 파도 디잉에 들이야 nganjin di yobe sonza nganji gi ken sheje ya datu nye kyong se ad keje dian to sle ngores.
Nice. We have to understand that in terms of the negativities, has these 9 different levels. So particularly here in this situation, taking anger as an example, one thing that is very important to understand is that as the mind becomes clearer, the coarser state of coarser or grosser, right, or state of this negativity, or particularly in anger, that gets purified. So it starts from the coarser to a subtler, then the subtlest. This is one way. That's a sequential order. Now, one thing that is important to understand is that the coarser kind of negativities, negative state of mind, it doesn't have much power to harm others. It doesn't have. It has power to have, but the subtler and the subtlest, that are they are difficult to purify. Not only difficult to purify, they can harm much more powerful.
다 간다 콘도 뒤에와지 담원이와 뭐 콘도 락바 아니 차와 아니 신도 차가.
So then anger, when it goes down, we can make a division: anger coarse level or grosser level of anger, subtler, and the subtlest. So this is the way to go about. Now,
콘도 락바 차와 신도 차와지. 다 디숨게 안 싸왔어. 다 시간이.
so when we make a division, coarser or grosser level of the anger, subtler, and the subtlest. So these 3 are one. And then these 3 are rooted in the root sawa. They are rooted in.
싸와지. 다 자외게 싸왔어.
Then the root of the root, you have to again think, that root of the root, which is the self-grasping.
다 한동게 내갑수 아니 대보 준비 한동게 내가서 아니 자외 자발이야 다 간다 구조 겹토하다 매버서 토야게 nevertheless yes.
So when it comes to the Mahayana great scope individual, when they are at the stage of the penetrative insight, Laodong, then they are able to uproot the root of the root of self-grasping.
다 기부 딩기
Root of the root.
녀몽 그죠.
When one reaches the penetrative insight, it's able to uproot. Yeah.
제가 다 기부 딩기 qabla 녀몽 뒤 참에게 싸와대 다 간다 매버서야 다 디님부터 딩기 그랬어. 기부 딩기 qabla 녀몽게 싸와 단신제 태고 준비 qabla 디 자외 싸와 벤지 당론 샵사.
No. So,
기부 딩기 qabla 싸 단신.
yes. So when you are in the middle scope individual, then you are able to uproot the fourth, which is the grasping, And for the great scope individual, then you are able to uproot the root of the root, which is the self-grasping of phenomena,
다 기부 중요 qabla 다 녀몽 스스에게 수수수수 게다 간다 님부터 이제 매버서고 되가네 콘루 롱아 이스고 집에 가네 아니 가시 슈캡사 가실 콘루 체에나 콘루 마좀 아니 되바 슈체에나 되바 마좀 데모 슈체에나 데모 좀게 도스시죠 고 슈치종당 소소 너저 치종 단고 매버서고 수고 줘야지 기부 중요 qabla.
And interesting here is that the small scope individual, what they are able to do is they body, speech, and mind. They are able to apply the antidote to attachment, anger, and all these negative emotions. Applying these appropriate antidotes. And what happens to those small scope individuals is the afflicted emotions weaken down. So the key here is it's the grosser everything manifests, becomes weakening down, but it's not, uprooted or purified.
pena lunga yusum kono chashege na kibu chungu kapla lugi chidang konen dikimindo na lugi nyebade maa tang. Ani nga dugudo na nga maa tang. 아니 이게 지금은 이게 쓰니까네 간다를 미기주가 강 조레서 lunga yusum 수수수수.
No.
다 기부 딩기 갑래 이거네 lunga 이 순간에 영왕 당지들이 이거네 다 lunga 이 순간이야 간다고 년부터 퇴하실래 인구도.
No.
다 기부 중을 침빌 갑래 이거네 다 되게 상말이야 수적이 바 년부 좀제 왕교트베 맞에 다 랑다 셴 탐질이야 캡투야게 왕교래게 다 누버지 다 정달 딜레 것도.
Again, we can bring to an overview picture that an individual, when they are in the level of the small scope individual level, what happens is they are particularly refraining from any kind of negative actions. So negative action of body, the speech and mind. So we have 10 non-virtuous actions. They restrain themselves and then they purify. So what happens here in the small scope individual, their level, all these afflicted emotions become weakening down. Okay, so now we go to the next level, which are the middle scope individual. The middle scope individual, they conduct themselves, their behavior of body, speech, and mind in order to reach to nirvana. So what they are doing is they are applying the right antidote. Where they are seeing the grasping, particularly grasping as the negativity. So they do everything to overcome that, and the mind becomes very powerful to overcome these negativities. So this is the selflessness of a person takes in, and they are able to overcome that. Now, when it comes to the third, which is the advanced great scope individual, again, their body, speech, and mind, they are purifying that, but they are applying such a great antidote of doing a selflessness of a phenomena. So they are able to uproot all the negativities. Not only that, they are able to benefit all sentient beings. So the potential enhances as we make these three demarcations of three different scopes of individuals, how their negative emotions get purified.
작바 매버스단 샤시기는 맨날 레가버지 간이야 작바유나 작바디스 소로디 코트에 레라 인고도 왔어. 되네 작바 딜레 디스 틱고 가르소레 디스 다 차우스네 면도 나가디 디주엘 디스 고르고도 왔어. 다 작바 뱃 파스타슈디 주엘에 안 코딜레 망한 고르고도 왔어. 안 타메 타슈 다 작바 큐네 뭐가 섬사주나 가르치고서는 다 레코라메라 당기로 왔어.
Yes. Geshe is bringing an analogy here. If you have a white cloth, like stainless, there is nothing in it. And this white cloth now has been stained by dirt and a lot of impurities, let's put that way. Now we need to clean that white cloth, and we want to bring it back to that white cloth level. So what happens is that initial stage, we wash that, right, with soap. What happens is the one that is apparent, the dirt that's very gross, they get purified very fast. So those are the grosser level of the afflicted state. Now, little bit difficult to wash away, a little bit subtler kind of wax or something, let's say, more impediments, I think would be a better word. So you have to rub more, and you have to apply whatever needs to be applied to in order to wash it away. Then they will be the deep kind of wax or impurities that's in deeply into the cloth. Again, we need to wash it further down and then to purify it, And then of course there's a subtleness that cannot be visible, but still there's a dirt there. Then the best is to burn that cloth.
So when Yeshua was talking about the
the gross, the subtle, the most subtle. He's talking about the big, the middle big, the
Yeah.
small big,
Yeah.
down to the
Yes.
small. That one.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. That's same. But he, to the audience here, he made it better by saying, "Let's do grosser, subtler." Okay, so.
말랑 레모고 14시네.
Oh, 14
제가 둠대도
yeah, yeah. Yours is classical way, but Geshe wanted to make the audience easier to picture in their mind.
And here we're talking about serenity or calm abiding. And so when we're talking about purified, we're talking about really suppressed. They're not actually removed from the mind without insight, right?
Also, shine dubdu the nimo beto kora the mewa chagi mewa di laudong dille yo marwas. Laudong dille medu ane ko nimo ko paja inere ko ba taru de ko nyungyu mewa che ine ko taru de go ra di laudong mewe gengi shine kyangba dubna and the reverse. Yes. Because if there's no penetrative insight, that's why it's sort of suppressed. It's still there. The manifest is not there.
I have a somewhat similar question to hers. There are some cases of tulkus who sometimes act in ways that are contrary to the Dharma, sometimes even do harmful actions with their body, their speech, sometimes even illegal actions. It's only a few of those I've heard of, but can Geshe give some advice how we can work with our own minds so we don't generate negative thoughts, and how can we make that into something positive and constructive?
Excellent. The lamse gitiwo gyo that this the ko chato dawudu chagdos ani the tugu inde yungu was ra and tugu kashe ya chik chubati cheda matumbe cheda genda bet kora tonge inde the chik tungu dos risun tungu dos ra pinje luida ngada dinju sama rangi la nu zi yo ma shi shele nu zi ki dos and dende indu the chik sem na lo la chik made shi yungu dos yi ne ta ke chu rangi sem gi pege thana jae da rangi gi sem di ani chik kyo ma shoe ta ke chimbur was cheza da rangi gi sem di pege ta tu chik kyonja kyo ma thoe la an tablam kare yores and ne dang dende cha du en sam no khante tang press ne ra ende chi
아니 게 당부 다 단디셔브나 쉬죠. 이게 당부 두고 거랑 원생 물어봐.
First of all, well, it is important to know what do you mean by tulku from one standpoint.
하고 그래서 제가 두고 원생 됐잖아요. 다디 드리드나야 양라시나 망고실로 보고이나 보고면나 관심만도 지기 지단은 유 두고 원생지도 간에 원내기 개왕아마되기 가소리 개와랑 제제 두고 원생지고는 개왕아마게 두고 투메스 제제 두고 찍힌 거 왔어.
Whether I don't know if it's appropriate that I speak today here to the audience, and maybe it is a sensitive topic, it may affect, but anyhow, Geshe says, when it comes to the Tuku system, this reincarnation of Tuku, that one thing is very important, that Tulku lineage that has no kind of impurities. It's pure, So that's one thing. And that tulku is that through their aspiration prayer, they come, they reincarnate.
뒤에 유여버치를 마도지기야 다가 수수의 삼무단 수여받아 딘데레면도 다 슝시루스 제베이나 개와라야 라마토미에 요레 삼셔도 시버 숭이에 요레 디인데가네 덴데 다 간다라 유여바랑 쉐스
And these are
시버시다 시버시레스
these are not just popularly stated or on. These are true accounts. They are practitioners who really, out of their compassion, though they have the power, they manifest as a reincarnation to benefit others, and they do aspiration prayers to benefit. And these are true accounts, and it's stated in the classical scripture. And also, this is something of a true accounts, and that there is a possibility.
다 리치데 아니 갑도게 내당당 아니 내주다 된들 때네 다 두고는 진시샵신 것도 신디가는 다디 두고들라 이 지구들이야 투제세 두고들어 다 직디 아니 교양에메기 라마티기 두고는 진체나 아니 상부도 약부도 세야치다 간다
So the first one that Geshe said is really a pure tulku or reincarnated tulku. And then the second ones are depending on the time, circumstances, cultural, all these factors takes into consideration. And such as such person is a reincarnation of such. And that really, again, it depends on the situation and the person and whether that individual can bring how much benefit, and then, how much of purpose.
지지거는 다 개왕아메기 주변국이 모연진바사르시다 모연진바스 때 차샤바스 어디에 연구하래서
So in the second category, that is that, oh yes, this person is a tuku of the earlier previous one, and so it's a symbolic. It's much deeper than the symbolic, but chashawa kariguna yagado. Suitable yagado. Kari yagado chashawa lady. More symbolic, but more than that, it's chashawa.
다 베네케난 디기 섭전의 디기도 신소시다 섭
That represent there is a representation. I think so.
어디 샤
Instead of symbolic, the representation of the previous lama, or the reincarnation.
다 되는 숨버들라 영자 사실도
So there's a third one. It's complicated.
다 숨버데 가르스나 다 두고 문제지네 미유 가라 가르스나 수제기 다 균노농제 답부자야 된다려 문제징이 이렇게 연구도 가서 두고
Then there is a third Turku system, and the aim is totally different. It's a bit of worldly, where the Turku has been recognized in order to gather, wealth and things like that.
다 균노농제다 온자스면 된다래다
It's the gathering wealth and also gathering power.
디제도 제산 디스 유디거는 다 디스 미여와체제 안 코네단 간데르샤다 다제야다 고다야르 주제도
So then, with this, under such circumstances, we see the three different types of Turku system. So one needs to assess properly. So that's the way to.
디디
Thinking of specifically was acknowledged by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So then it's a little makes it more difficult. If the Dalai Lama has said, "Oh yes, this is the tulku,"
아니, 양 덴데 연구도 지금 파주들라 지금 마대 얘기 지어라. 양 군두기 윤진 사교들라 윤진한 사교다 그런 쪽으로 랩 주바 담이나서 용해도 아니야 디스나는 칼레 망아도스.
마마도세
No.
다소 더드나 두고디 파정을 야고 치기 위해다 매매네자 된다게 칠수 돔 ям나네 다 두고 임베차네 상계기 땜바다 심질 편도 간데 연구면도 다 딜이야 상계기 땜바다 심질 가져 누구도 누구면도 다 돔게 딜어봐
So whatever the circumstances is, the most important thing is under any circumstances, whatever the tugu is, you should really see is that tugu benefiting the sentient beings and the Buddha Dharma. That's the key. And you make the assessment and measurement according to that. That is a very clear way to assess how much of dedication they are doing to the Buddha Dharma and how much that tugu is bringing beneficial action to sentient beings. So that's the easiest and that's the measurement you need to do. That's the
We have heard in the text and from many teachers that the karma abiding it's important at the beginning and the middle at the end of the path. So we need to practice karma abiding all the time, and sometimes we can fall into laziness, procrastination, or being too busy. So maybe I would like to request an advice from you, like in the normal day that we have, like how many hours or how much time we need to really sit and practice karma abiding.
아니 슝망부나래 숭샤스 시네 둡당다 디가라 아니 시네디 토다 바숨도 다 개치와라 원디 숭샤스 아니 시네 이네다 시네 고메레 레로 민도스라 데코 레로 딜레 용구도와스 다 레로 딜레도야 소 디다 팀사 투줄라다 직 대화 차고 샤야죠라 원디데 용구도스 아니 다 모랑오네 아니 기슬라 ngazula chiklam dush naronas nima rela ani chusu khazu gom go res an khadu gom go res wa ani tinde chik kalublam de naronas
다 간서 남기 곰래 지기 봐 곰리야 지단지나 곰들이야 간다디 여러 갈수래 루이기 가서 남나 주도 내기네 아니 되네 된대월 코스제제 도스제제 곰 갸단직 그런바직 시기 봐서 안 되네다 바 답대로다 시내면도 간수는 곰들아 아니 전에 곰게 요래 년에 곰게 요래 아니 도스제제 계시에 인디잖아요 야고 탐람 망부지기 돈에 지혜유베른 버시를 연구도 와서
no so as we all know they are a popular meditation posture that we need to sit in the 7-point posture of the Virachana, so that's more like a formal kind of meditation we need to do. And then there are second methods of doing meditation, walking meditation, sleeping meditation.
아니 갈래길래 제비에는 내가 지기지길래 곰캡토야지 연구에서 왔어.
And there is a possibility that even if you engage into any kind of activity, you can apply some kind of meditation.
다 계시시직이야 단내 당보벌 장고에 디 가슴 콘디션은 시제 간다를 주에 추 두기 직주식 돈에 당보 된대지 돌이야 간다를 고치 좀나.
So Geshe advised that for a beginner, when you first want to start meditation, he is encouraging that first do the 6 preparatory practices. 6 preparatory.
제산다 디 durduji shoge china yagatu yang konda china yagatu yang ningung parsen chile china yagatu stati twin to koshi kyabgudo anamgi one china ngonzo nima chile ya twin duksi gorwa ta twin du koshi kyamado ne twin sumdi koshi kyabgudo as
So of course for that practice you again customize to your own kind of situation and then see what is most suitable to yourself. Is it easier for you in the morning time frame? Is it easier for you in the evening time frame? Is it easier during the afternoon? So just see customized to your own self. and then do accordingly. Of course, in the meditation, generally there is a 6 session we have to do it, but even if you not able to do 6 session, at least you should do 3.
아니 다고 두지 된데시데 두지 됐던 답에 돌아 냠낸 치단데 다 똑죽들에도 당보 퇴배 똑 삼배 똑 아니 곰배 똑시 퇴삼 곰숨 되체 아니 되네다 뒤 준주 삼고다 준주 똑 되체 아니 되네 준주 삼타네 아니 가서래 템배 똑시 템바 다 템바 띵에다 일라바네 시레 마테네 템바테 요레 드네 템바테 요레 녜네 템바테 요레 내가 지기지길래 템바테 요르바스
No. So when you do that, whatever designated time frame you do, and then make sure you utilize the 6 powers, the power of the hearing, reflection, and meditation, that which you are doing, and apply that with joyful effort, and then mindfulness. So here, in particular to mindfulness can be applied at any circumstances. In formal meditation, walking meditation, sleeping meditation. You can do while you are doing any kind of activity. Mindfulness, you have to adopt it all the time.
제자나 된대기 준주제 아니 템바데 가서 시신 다 시신들에 되네 안 고쳐버쳐야 돼. 그 소소디 주베알이야 아니 가리기 내고도 가리기 팽기도 그 레니 펜내기 디체 디체 사수는 아니 용수 디버스 시렌 디체데 간디치 제베네 게 간디치테네 고요간을 주 렌토버제다 고요간을 셈디티버지 총수나 아니 셈디 시라게 디누버체 용서로.
Yes. And then as you familiarize in this way with mindfulness, and then if there is a kind of wavering or distraction, then you apply the introspective awareness all the time. Because introspective awareness here, you have to understand a wisdom aspect here, where you are critically analyzing whether I'm doing it or not, And once your whole activity revolves in that fashion, over time, you become very familiar with your practice. And then that's where the complete familiarity happens. Once that familiarity happens, then any circumstances, especially with challenging circumstances, you will be able to mindfully relate to your own Dharma practice, whatever you are focusing on. So this is how you do it. To your question.
되네 아니 림베 다 같이 밤나 그 림바 망보다 내다 망보질 샤야를 마도 지기 지단기 냠nen디 다 약수치로다 갱에 남도 교세 갱에 뭐 간디치네 간들 고 상불 줄도 바치 중나.
So the most important is, as we do this, there are different steps and different stages and all this. But what it comes down to, Dharma practice, is the most important is taking any adversity to your own advantage. That's the key. And if you are able to do that, you are always doing the Dharma practice. Yes.
Thank you very much for your teaching, Geshe. This is probably a very small scope Western question, but how many sentient beings out there have reached 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? I don't know any. I don't know how to tell. I don't know if there are any. Are we just hoping that we can get there, or is this actually doable?
이 디와디 기우중이 기우중이 돈에다 디와 기교로 시작이 되었으라 아니 디와 아니 쿠란기 섬주이 나올라다 단대기 잠블링 디나올라스라 아니 담미 칸사 카주스요 레스 딘데 시네 토쿄 the kora rimba the masune ngawa dumba gewa go and the topgo and the yorwes sangazina zie yorwes.
디 아주 제시 제야 요레스.
Yes, definitely we can do a research.
다 제시 간데 시작을.
We can try to find out.
가서는 녀는 잠을 디나리아 가서래. 미 야보 가져도 독자 가져도 징징 가져도 디야와 체스.
So first, how do we do that is that in the humanity in large, right now, how many good people are there? How many bad people are there? And how many people do those are neutral?
아, 야가도 또 야와지.
No.
다 되네 야가서야 디 나로려야. 다 최케랭이 가져도 최케 밀랭이 가져도 아니 최려야 견중이 가져도.
No, so. Now, when it comes to the good humanity, now again break it down. And the good humanity, how many people are religious believer? How many people who are non-religious believer? And the third one is how many people that are against religion?
디야와체스라. 다 되네 최케랭이 시도나 최케랭이 디나라 아니 다양 최디 아니 양다바당 아니 편도 연이 최 간지시도 최디 최기 명삼시 다 케랭에 다 디토는 중에 가져시도.
Now, let's go to the first category, who are believers, who are religious people. Now, within this religious people, how many the religious practitioner are really authentic practitioner? Who are really, seeing the benefit of their practices and benefiting. And then they are religious people, they're just there for namesake.
인디가는 다 최케레나 최디낭래야 고든리디 가르스는 다 당기셰브나 시리 세디지고래야 펜벌징이 최지. 그렇죠? 아니 개와 치마 잠시 온도다 아니 온도 잠시 주버징이 최지. 아니 최직디 다 탈바다 탐제 개별 공부하는 된든이 이게 최지. 최디리 숨디 지기와 진 하고 버치고도 왔어.
No. So within the religious domain, we can see the religious practices, they are focused about this life, religious domain, they do all the activities, but they are focusing about this life. And there's a religious practitioner who are thinking about the next life, which is more of the favorable rebirth. And then there are religious practitioners who are really optimizing to the highest level of nirvana and the enlightenment. So again, we break it down further. No.
만들어. 다 디나네 미수소리야 제버치디잖아. 다 미수소기 류당 아다 이기 제버 이기 제벌이야 다 제버치기로 왔어.
So most important is that individual themselves, if you really try to figure out and what are the body, speech, and mind, how do I behave? It comes down to the body, speech, and mind, the behavior pattern. No.
디니가네 다 수수랑기 간데 유메든데 지지캬 디체와 삼선 딩기유나 냐 당고 수수랑기 다 신내생이데 가르래도 아니 신내 둘나 간데스 두고도 디하거나 아니 딜레베베 아니 미파기디 규리야 신내도 신내면도 신내 tum니 게 아니 다 도나징이 가져도 가져면도 아니 과하지고 영상을 봤어.
수수 당보라니 이게
다 수수하고 삼나
걔라 수수하고 고삼나
하고가 삼는 게 아니라 수수 신내하고도 법제지 하고고 신내하고에 맞에 아니 신내디 톱니 미디 간데 유메다 그 내단 하고나 수수 최시 티사로 왔어.
No. So then now with your particular question, the answer is very direct. That now what you have to do is from your side, try to understand about karma abiding in depth, what the characteristic and how it attains and all this. And if you have certain level of understanding and some kind of level of practice, then you will identify other people who have attained or not.
난 남기네 쓰고 남기는 시고래 추기 직대되나 추기 팬다 마베 계지 시기요래서 추기 팬다 마베 계지 시디 전에 아니 가식 추요 말했고 얘를 수수 추하 먹어봐라 추기 팬다 마벤다 추디 야고 요 마요 간스 문제 시가스
in this world, there are so many people that these religious practices good. Some say religious practice is not that good, and all this, But how can we identify it? It is only by tasting it, by knowing yourself.
제자들 수수 하거나 아니 추기 핑기여바다 추 야고 임바 하거나 주교래 아니 추디 하거네 추디 수수 핑기 매바다 수술 누구이나 아니 추들 만주고 있네 그 김제시도 왔어 릭식 디요 말스 추기는 하고 요 말에데 하먹어내야 아니 추기 핑기 말에 추 두그스 시행이 릭식 용되고 왔어 제가 개발 된데 두가
So it is important that in order to know any kind of phenomena as such, and specifically here when we talk about religion, it is important that what are the benefits of religion? One has to know by oneself. What are the disadvantages of not doing religious practices? So one has to reflect on that and know about that. Once you know it, then whether you want to follow the path or not, it's up to you how much benefit it's going to bring or not. So then you can make a determinate sort of decision. And then it becomes a very clear decision. And it becomes a very valid kind of approach. And if you don't see any benefit of doing religious practice, then don't do it, So that's how you approach to any kind of phenomena, whatever inquiry is. Same in this aspect, there are so many people, they don't know religion at all, but they keep on talking about religion is not good. They don't know about religion, but they say religion is not good, and that's not going to take anywhere.
그렇지 그래 그 십자 따단들라 가색 추스게 돼 암조 고어 잠기 아니 고디 고르게 시고라 가색 암조 고찬 디스 제버제 삼로다네 디 돌게 시고라 이네 탑도 아니 추들이야 수수 곰지시제 땐데 띡띡 코에 내주지 심부터네 아니 콜레야다 여두기 여와시 지기나 아니 또또스 더 여두디 직체 김제 여버지 차로 봐다
No. Yes. There are so many people who know about religion just by hearing. There are a lot of people like that, but there are people who go further step. Through their own critical analysis and reflection, they go deeper and find reasons. And once they find reason, they try to habituate whatever they want to do it. They cultivate those. And once they do that, then they become solid in their valid reasons in finding the taste of their religious belief. And once that, then that individuals becomes a measurement, that by doing certain practice, and it becomes a very stable, and stable and can be sustained. So these are various way of looking at things. I think we have 5 minutes, and we have to do at 11 because.
Okay. I find it very beautiful to hear about the 8 stages that their practitioners were then apparently able to go to different realms. And since we learned about bodhicitta beforehand, and this person has realized bodhicitta, so I kind of wonder how this can be sustained over the stages, so that this practitioner doesn't fall into this peaceful state of mind that so many are seemingly to fall into, and not engaging in benefiting sentient beings, but going deeper and deeper, and then probably in the form of formless time. I don't know how that works. If Geshe could say something more about it.
Yeah, I just want to get the right
Yes.
kind of question. So, are you talking about in terms of karma abiding itself, or are you talking about the
Yes.
stage of accumulation, preparation? The bodhisattva.
Yeah, it's kind of in it, but maybe in this context now, since he talked about the 9 stages and the 8th stage, the how it's called, mostly pacified. So, and how that practitioner keeps their bodhicitta so strong to be able to get out of that state of mind.
Yes.
Yeah, and to benefit, to be in action.
단다 심내 구기 조단 쳐와 아니 뭐라 튀어디 das koran neje temru tudu ani ya sesoru tudu ta semle shidi ta samgi me gebe ji yungu yorwas ine da dende nyanga mayo yo sig marwas ta chanju gi semle ta sa cheshirwas ta ine di shine dube nega du neje ya toru tudu sem shiwa galan nenaswa 아니야 심지기 된제 될라야 지금 바르두치와 바르지로 용 시설스 벤체스나 한다네제 개와 될래나 다지직도 냠버샤와 되갈래나 시대 가란 네스데 와체 아니 심지를 되마주나 아니 한다 도금네 수금 수메 감로 도치와라스 원디 마도에체 안디기안 찬주셈델레 파르제마다에치도 안타블람 가리어레스 원디르시
아니야. 이래 간다 심내 구바 찌직도 냠버샤바 카둘라다 디케 딘데기 디케요 말레스 간다 냠샤카도 디 줍차네 아니 수수기 딱 간다 꾸는 그 편바다 이제 다 디기우등아 다가랑 갈이야 다 기부진 대기 삼사되나 다들 두즈 촐라줘야다 아니 지금 다 같이 마요하게 다 년가데 용세브라지로 왔어.
When you reach to the 8th and 9th stage, which is the single-pointed, pacification, and then the 9th one is the placement in equipoise. Reaching to that level, there is no danger, but the danger happens to the individual herself or himself. That once you have attained that person's intention, if you want to stay peacefully or do you want to benefit others. So at that time, your intention of aspiration, bodhicitta, and to benefit others, you have to empower yourself. You have to really dedicate, and then there won't be danger.
제산디 인디잖아 가지고 심지어 탐절이야 펜바 양다버지 주야 된다라 아니 닝지게 심부리 닝지데 토마이게 심부리 바르도 따 단단한 신세 신의 주변 내가 없어요 거기 계신 분을 타마 차입의 제례 닝지기 아니 심고에 계신 분을 쓰고에 뒤로 왔다 다다 되어지기도 하고
Long. So that's why it is very important and from the very beginning that you want to set yourself with the goal of calm abiding from the very beginning. You need to have a very strong bodhicitta mind as your aspiration, and in particular, you need to work on to your great compassion. So you have to enhance your great compassion and bodhicitta mind from the beginning, the middle, at the end of calm abiding, all the way through. You have to intensify at the same time with your calm abiding. You have to intensify the practice of bodhicitta and the great compassion. And if you do that, there won't be danger. And that's what it is encouraged, that during the process of calm abiding, those are also need to be generated accordingly. 11. So we will.
May the spiritual teachers who lead me on the sacred path, and all spiritual friends who practice it have long life. May I pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances, Grant such inspiration, I pray. May the lives of the venerable spiritual mentors be stable, and their virtuous actions spread in the 10 directions. May the light of Lobsang's teachings dispelling the darkness of the beings in the 3 worlds always increase. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Nirtayami. Due to this merit, may we soon attain the awakened state of Guru Buddha. Then we may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious Bodhi mind, not yet born, arise and grow. May the born have no decline, but increase forevermore. In the snowy mountain pure land, you're the source of good and happiness. Powerful Tenzing, yet so generous. May you stay until samsara ends.